What's going on YouTube? It's Dylan from Redline here, bringing you yet another video. As you can see, we're back in the S4. She's back running and running like a top. Things mint now, so I'm thrilled and I'm glad to be making videos in this thing again. The topic of today's video, achieving perfect fitment in a B8, B8.5, A4, S4, even the S5, A5. You may be able to throw in the S6 and A6 or A7 and A6 as well. They have similar fitment. They're slightly larger vehicles, so you gotta run slightly larger wheels, but you'll still get the same point. At the end of the day, all this stuff is subjective. So this is my opinion versus someone else's opinion, and everyone has their own way of building a car and what they like to see in terms of wheels. But before we get into all that, I need to clean this pig up. This thing is filthy from sitting at the shop for a week, so let's clean her up. Now my car is already ceramic coated, but this stuff works wonders to add an extra layer to your car. This stuff will bead straight off. It's amazing. Alrighty, now that this thing's finally cleaned up, let's get into what wheels, or what sizes that is, fit best on this platform. Now, if you're curious what exactly I'm running these are the Avant-Garde M580s in a 19 by 9.5 with a plus 35 offset on a 255/35 19 tire. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of these wheels. I've actually wanted to purchase them on both of my past S4s. I was gonna buy them for my black B8 that I first had. Never got the chance to do that, ended up selling the car. And then I was gonna buy them for my white S4, the B8.5, but they actually would not fit over my big brake kits, so I was stuck running the peelers with some spacers. Now, these Avant-Gardes are extremely concave. I'm not sure if I can pick it up on the camera, but like when you're at this angle right here and you can see the outer lip of that, looks beautiful. Shout out to Eli from Ignition Tube. A lot of you guys already know who that is. He is one of the people who I look to when trying to figure out what wheels to get for this thing. When talking with Eli, he actually was one of the people that recommended to get a nice concave wheel, and it will look very aggressive and mean when the car's sitting still and even rolling. Now, unfortunately, due to the design and the brakes and everything of the S4, it's kind of hard to get a big, very concave wheel on this car. We're stuck with a lot of flat wheels. From the factory, these cars come with a wheel that has a plus 45 offset. That's basically flat. Not really any room to get any meat in there, any concavity, and it kind of sucks when trying to pick out wheels. The issue gets way worse when you have big brake kits or any other variable that would affect that. It gets very annoying. As I hinted earlier on my B8.5, I couldn't even run these wheels on that car due to them hitting the brakes or rubbing certain parts. And if I were to run them, I'd have to run spacers and excessive camber. And personally, that's just not my style. And a lot of other Audi people, or at least in the S4 group, can agree that just doesn't fit these cars all too well. But I think for what it is, these give the S4 an amazing stance. I love them. Obviously, what wheels you put on your car, it's all subjective. Now, some people may love these wheels, some people may not love these wheels. Some people may want to run an 18-inch wheel with a bigger tire. That's fine too. But I'm here to tell you guys what's most popular, what fits, and what gives these cars a nice aggressive stance. My honest opinion, and what I see most people running on their S4s, 19 seem to be the most popular, whether it be in anything from an 19 by 8 to a 19 by 9.5. Even some people are getting 19 by 10s on these cars, but like I said, then you're going to be running into certain issues. In my personal experience with these cars, a 19 by 9.5 wheel is going to get you that beautiful fitment, especially when you're lowered like this car is. It just gives this thing a mean stance. Now, don't get me wrong, 18s do still look good, but in my opinion, you have to go a little bit lower just to fill up the wheel gap and everything. With a 19 by 9.5, man, this looks good. It's a nice meaty setup. You can get a good summer tire on there as well for performance aspects, and it just looks good. So the biggest setback with finding wheels for these cars, whether it be an A4 or an S4, same goes for the S5 and the A5, we are very limited in terms of offset. Offset is the concavity of the wheel. So I see most people running like plus 35 to plus 45. Plus 45 is more of a flat finish. The hub's out more with like the outside of the wheel. I see that most commonly. That is basically, I think that's what stock peeler wheels are, plus 45. And it's extremely common on S4s. If you get a little bit more ballsy and you want to add just like, I don't know, half a degree of camber or a degree of camber, you could opt for plus 35s. That's if your car's lowered, by the way. Really go from there. Now, I have seen people running 20s on this car. Personally, I'm not a fan of the 20s. I think they look kind of goofy and wonky. I've seen people running 17s on these cars. Now, 17s are an interesting wheel to run. So typically when people are running 17-inch wheels, it's with some Hoosiers or some slicks of some sort when you go to the track. Now, to do that, I've heard you actually need to you need to downsize on your brakes. So you need to put smaller brakes on the car in order to fit the 17s. But these cars look meaty as ever with some Hoosiers and obviously whatever wheels you want to run. A lot of people run like RPF ones. They're more of like the outliers. You don't really see too many people running like the 20 by 10 three-piece wheels. Obviously, some of the bagged boys, they're going to run stuff like that and get as aggressive as possible and throw all that camber in and get their lip to body or whatever it is fitment. Personally, that's not my style. I'm a coilover kind of guy. I like a nice fitment that's still usable. I daily drive my car. I don't feel like having bacon fenders or any of that junk. So I try to get something that still looks good, but is still practical. Going off of the wheels and everything, most people run a tire that's anywhere from a 235 wide to a 255. Most commonly with a 35 sidewall or upwards if you need more. Usually winters are a little bit thicker. But in the end, if your car is lowered, I just can't get over the 19 by 9.5 look, whether it be an aggressive offset, a normal offset, whatever, no matter what. I just think these things look so good in a 19 by 9.5 wheel. It gives you that meaty look that you need. Still looking sporty, still looking classy. And it's more of OEM plus in my opinion. And that's how I like to modify my cars. Like, come on, man. You just cannot beat that concavity. That looks so dang good. Yeah, 19 by 9.5 will have you just about perfectly flush, as you can see here. Another one of the biggest things when choosing out wheels, you want to have decently flush fitment, because if you don't, if your tire or if your wheels are too far in, they look kind of goofy. If they stick out all crazy, that definitely looks goofy. So you just want to try and be as flush as possible, especially when lowering a car. If you're lowered and your wheels are sticking in 5 inches, I just think that looks goofy personally. And a lot of people can agree with me on that one. But yeah, and even if you're on stock wheels, I highly recommend getting a little tiny spacer in there and making them flush. With my peelers on my B8.5, I had the ECS flush kit. Amazing fitment for peelers. And if I didn't have these aftermarket wheels on the car, I would definitely be running some peelers. So now that we covered most of the basics with wheel size, tire size, all that good stuff, a lot of the popular brands that people run on these cars are anything from VMR, TSW, people run Audi. Obviously, being in the Audi scene, you're going to see a bunch of HREs, BBSs, a lot of the VW guys and Audi guys as well. They run a bunch of rotiforms, very popular wheel, and a bunch of stuff like that. Euro cars kind of have their own style of what you like to run. Kind of like how Japanese cars have their own style and American cars have their own style. I wouldn't necessarily throw some like JDM crazy wheels on an Audi or some JDM crazy wheels on my Mustang. I feel like every nationality or so of vehicles have their own kind of style that you like to run on these. Now, I'm not sure if this is a popular opinion or an unpopular opinion, but I'm also a big fan of stock wheels on these cars. Wheels be rotors, peelers, the flower wheels. There's only one type of wheel I don't like on these things, and that's what came on my B8.5 when I bought it. But for the most part, the stock wheels on these cars look amazing, and they're like a 5 or 10 millimeter spacer away from giving you that flush fitment that you really want. Especially when you lower your car, even on stock wheels, man, it looks really good. Now, I hope this video helped you guys out if you were having troubles trying to find wheels or anything like that. I know it can definitely be a difficult process and very aggravating. I happened to just throw these summer wheels back on with their brand new tires, so I was like, well, you know what? Might as well make a fitment video on how to achieve the best fitment. So that's my opinion on all this. Obviously, everything's subjective. Everyone has their own opinions. I see Audis of all types with all different kinds of build types. You see drag cars, you see stance cars, you see the camber boys, you see normal, like, I guess this is just called normal fitment, flush fitment. You see just about any and everything. And this is more or less how to achieve nice flush fitment for an OEM plus look that still gets the job done and looks kind of aggressive if you want it to. I am by no means an expert when it comes to wheels or tires. I get whatever I think will look best for the car and give me a decent look. I don't get into all the specifics for offset and everything. That's generally just what people run on these cars and what I know works. You could probably get away with a slightly more aggressive offset. Like I said before, there's some people running more aggressive offsets, but this is a proven setup that works. These wheel sizes I know work, and I was just trying to help everyone out. If you're an Audi owner, obviously you're watching this video, feel free to stick around. I've had 2 S4s prior to this. A bunch of Audi content is on this channel, so feel free to stick around, subscribe. If this video helped you, comment down below. If you're planning on switching your wheels up, drop a comment. I'm kind of open to seeing what everyone's running. Might switch up my setup in the future. I'm not too sure. So let me know what all you guys recommend. Very excited to make a video on this. This is the RS Nav, the wireless CarPlay gizmo. So that will probably be my next S4 video. So stay tuned for that. And on that note, guys, I am out. Thank you so much as well for 900 subscribers. Just at 900, like as I'm filming this. Beyond thrilled. We were so close to 1K. From the bottom of my heart, everyone, thank you so much. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram, RedlineDill, same as my YouTube. I love hearing from you guys and everyone who messages me and everything, so feel free to reach out. But for real this time, guys, I'm out. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.